I need the scoop.
A husband's shocking confession leaves a new mother questioning everything about their marriage. This viral Reddit story pulls back the curtain on what happens when parenthood reveals a partner's true priorities. Join us as we explore a relationship in crisis, where one woman discovers that her husband's idea of happiness directly conflicts with the family life they've built together.
My husband and I have been together almost 9 years and married for 2.5. We're both around 30 years old. About 14 months ago, we had our baby. The pregnancy was a surprise birth control failure. I had a copper IUD and the baby implanted next to it. Despite the surprise, we both wanted kids and were happy about it. When I sent him a picture of the positive test, he met me at the obstetrician for ultrasound confirmation and IUD removal. He cried when he saw the pictures and said he was so happy and wanted to be a dad. I was actually hesitant and said we could consider an abortion due to our life circumstances and the surprise of it all. He said it was up to me, and ultimately we decided to keep the baby. We had discussed ethical non-monogamy in the past, but put the discussion on hold during my pregnancy. After I gave birth, my husband brought it up again and started really pushing for polyamory. He also took on extra work as I had to stay home due to daycare costs eating up more than my monthly paycheck would cover. He started pushing me off on his family and wouldn't ever be home to help me or give me a break. He told me to go to his mum for a break and claimed all he was good for was bringing home money. Throughout all of postpartum, he's basically insinuated, if not outright said, that he doesn't want me to rely on him or want him around. At 6 months postpartum, he pushed for us to open our relationship. I hated it. He was disappointed when we closed it after a month. Around this same time, I went back to school full-time and have maintained a 4.0 GPA since. Our baby was exclusively breastfed, and I still nurse her 2 to 3 times a day and plan to continue until she's at least 18 months old. We've been in couples therapy for about 5 or 6 months now. We each have our own therapists too. There was a time over the summer when my postpartum depression was really bad. One day I asked him to come home from work early. Another day, a week or so later, I asked him to stay home entirely. He's a construction worker, so not always with the same company, and that company didn't ask him to come to the next job with them. He said that after he left and stayed home to help me, they all treated him differently and sort of isolated him. Instead of being upset with those misogynistic co-workers, he was upset with me, and sometimes still brings it up as an example of how I can't handle myself and the baby on my own. I've told him his frustration is misplaced, that I shouldn't be blamed for needing him, and if a job can't be understanding that a new dad may need to help his wife and child, it's better he doesn't work with them anymore. He just gets more frustrated. I've reminded him that caring for our kid is our job, not my job. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, he said maybe we should separate. I went to my parents' house with the baby. He started apologizing and changed his actions. Now he's upset that I'm happy with the change. It just feels like a big back and forth and I'm getting tired of it. I'm scared to not be with him though. I love so many of the people where we live, and I know I'd be the one giving up those friendships and supports I had to build while he was away working and doing whatever. It's just so unfair. He didn't have to stay with me if this wasn't what he wanted, but he made every effort to say it was, to commit himself to me and us. But once we have a baby, he wants out. He wanted me to keep the baby and doted on me all through pregnancy. Recently, I thought therapy was working. The last few weeks, he's worked less and made time to hang out with me and our baby more. He's planned outings for us, taken us for bike rides, been home to cook dinner and do chores, and to watch the baby so I can have some me time or friend time. It's been so nice. I mentioned to him that it made me happy and thanked him for doing all this and making progress like we've talked about in therapy. On our walk this morning, and in our last therapy session, he said it made him disappointed that I was so happy with spending all this time together. He said he noticed that since he didn't spend so much time doing extra work, he'd normally work 60+ hours per week but cut it down to closer to 50 hours per week, and was hanging out with us more at home, I'd been happier. He said that just proved to him that he was the problem. He said that everything he wants is a problem, and when he doesn't do or get what he wants, then I'm happy. He said he's happy spending time with me and our baby, but he's disappointed too. I don't know what to even think of this. I'm just hurt that I've dedicated so much time and energy to this relationship, to raising our baby who is absolutely incredible, and that I've been told I shouldn't be asking more of him. When we do spend time together, he might be happy in the moment, but seems to look back at it with regret and disappointment. I don't know if he's even happy to be with me. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like he sees our relationship as holding him back. But when I try to tell him this, he just says it feels like I don't trust him. He says that lack of trust makes him not want to try. I keep telling him that for the past year this pattern has repeated. He'll be more involved for a couple weeks, then throw himself back into work, and I'll have no support from him. He asked me today how long it will take for me to trust him and said he feels like he's being timed. I told him there is no time limit, the change has to keep going. I see that he's putting in the work, but I've seen that before. And I want it to actually stick, or for him not to put up such a fight about it if it does start to slip into him working too much again. I tell him I'm trying to trust him, but he keeps doing this same pattern of spending time with us and then pulling away, and then the cycle repeats. I don't want him to pull back away. I don't want him to tell me I shouldn't need him. That's when I can start trusting him again. Right now, I'm always waiting for him to stop engaging with me and to just always be away. He struggles a lot with negative self-talk and negative self-image, so I try not to say negative things when describing what I want out of our relationship or how I'm hurt. But then he just puts words in my mouth, feels self-pity, shuts down, and stops talking to me for a day or more. I have 2 more years until I finish school. What do I do from here? How do I even address this? What do I say to our therapist?
The community rallied behind the original poster, with many pointing out the manipulative nature of her husband's behaviour and his apparent desire to escape family responsibilities. As she processed this feedback, the couple continued their cycle of improvement, followed by disappointment. 11 days after her initial post, what should have been a pleasant walk together would instead reveal that nothing fundamental had changed in their relationship.
I had gotten in contact with a divorce lawyer's office and had a brief consultation with a secretary. It wasn't too long, and I haven't done much more gathering of info because I've had 10 different final papers, projects, and presentations happening, and just don't have the time or energy to work on it right now. Since his last comments, things had gone back to getting better. We still spent time together with our toddler, and things were starting to feel fun and like we were getting closer again. Then we went for a walk today. On our walk, he asked me how I thought things had been between us. I said I thought they'd been good, that I liked spending time together. Then I asked if he was still feeling the same way as the last time we talked about this. He basically said yes, that he's disappointed that he's the problem, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be in couples therapy. He also said that he doesn't ask me to change anything for him, which is completely untrue, as he asked me to be polyamorous with him and for him. I felt frustrated at this because I'm not asking him to change. I'm asking him to do what he had done our whole relationship before he changed. He used to make me homemade picnic dates, surprise me with my favorite snacks and coffee and drinks, or my favorite chocolates from a European-style chocolatier. We'd go on a date every weekend and hang out every evening. We'd text constantly and always found new things to talk about even after almost 8 years. Then once the baby was born, he began pushing me away, telling me I shouldn't rely on him, while also pushing for a polyamorous relationship. He told me he would burn the fumes in his tank to make sure others were taken care of, but then tell me he couldn't give me those same fumes when I needed him, or even anything from his tank when it was full. It was completely the opposite of how he used to treat me. And I told him this on our walk. His response was to say he accepts that he was at fault, but I wouldn't be convinced of his position no matter what he said. I told him that he's not accepting he was or is at fault if he keeps trying to convince me otherwise. In our next couples therapy session, I'm going to bring up that I think we've been both sidesing the issues in our relationship. I'm guilty of participating in this. I'll defend him and try to protect his ego and work together. But honestly, I haven't done anything wrong in this regard. I've acted and reacted in an impossible situation that my husband has put me in. I just don't know why the birth of our child changed him so much, made polyamory into such a fixation of his, when that time and energy for his self-discovery should have been put into directly caring for myself and our baby. He keeps trying to make excuses that he didn't get to do much the first year of her life, but he went on multiple hours-long hikes and dinners with his friend, went on a solo camping trip, slept over at another friend's house for their birthday instead of coming to the first family outing I had planned since giving birth, went hiking and rafting a couple times with the significant others of some of my friends, went on dates with me, went on dates with other people, had dinner with friends, went on solo bike rides where he'd be gone for multiple hours or even all day. And his comeback when I point this out to him: it's not as much as he usually did before the baby. He only got to ride his motorcycle once or twice last year. He claims I could have done all those things too. Never mind that I was exclusively breastfeeding our baby, and going out anywhere meant having a portable pump and refrigeration options on hand. Never mind a space where I could actually comfortably sit and pump for 20 to 30 minutes in the middle of activities. I don't know. Just what happened? How did I go from having a devoted and loving, feminist-minded husband to whatever he is now? The truth is, he was never truly a feminist. He was a feminist when he was getting sex more regularly, and he was the main character in my life. But after our baby arrived, he's acting like he didn't ask for either a child or a wife, and like he's somehow the victim in all this. His tank is supposedly on fumes, yet he wants additional partners. He can't take care of the relationship he has, but wants more of them. He got to keep much more of his life and freedom than I did after our child was born. Yes, he took on extra side work to bring in some of the money we were losing with me staying home, but all the time he was working, I was taking care of our baby. And all the time he wasn't working, I was still taking care of our baby. I feel like my wheels are just spinning on this. It feels like every time things get better lately, he tells me he's not fulfilled. I don't know why he won't just break up with me if being together makes him feel so bad. Whatever. I'm still going to try and fix things because maybe at some point he'll see the light, but at the same time, I'm going to begin to craft my exit plan. I'm not working as I take care of the toddler full-time, and I'm in school on a full-time schedule too, squished into 2 days a week while my parents take the little one. So I'm not making my own money at the moment. I don't graduate until 2027 with a master's degree, so I either have to stay with him until I get a job after graduation so I can afford my own place, or I have to move in with my parents before that, who don't really have the space for us but can make it work.
Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is that someone can change fundamentally when faced with new responsibilities. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts on relationship expectations in the comments below. Subscribe to follow this family's journey as the original poster works toward her exit plan, and check out our recommended video for more stories about navigating difficult relationship transitions.